Okay guys, we're reviewing the DBQ, and what I've done is actually do kind of the DBQ setup with you to show you how I would do it. Didn't do it with a cheat sheet or anything, so give me a little bit of a break. But what I need you to do is have the printout of the DBQ with you so that you can do it and then kind of check the way you're doing it with the way that I would do it, okay? So, the first thing to remember about the DBQ is that you do not need to know any information about the topic. So we're doing a DBQ today on the Green Revolution. I know quite a bit about the Green Revolution, and that makes me feel a little more confident, but I want you to know that you don't need to know anything about the topic to still get a 9 on the DBQ, because this is all about answering the question with the documents, so interpreting and analyzing the documents. What does that mean? That just means reading comprehension. It's all about reading comprehension for the AP World History DBQ, okay? And so this is a skill that can be learned even if you are not successful with reading comprehension normally. You can do it the 2-sentence way, and that will help you get the points for evidence, okay? So for the first 10 minutes, I'm going to recommend that you only focus on the DBQ and that you start your pre-writing only on the DBQ. I know that a lot of review books will tell you to look at all 3 questions and see which one that you feel more comfortable with. I think that that is a bad idea, because you're going to start worrying about the other essay while you're writing the one that you're supposed to be focusing on. So do one essay at a time, and since the pre-write for the DBQ is the longest, please use those 10 minutes, because you're actually going to need more than 10 minutes probably to do the pre-write for the DBQ, okay? Alright, so let's remember how we do a pre-write and remember why it's so important, okay? You've really got to organize the DBQ right. You have to make sure that you have all your documents. So without doing pre-write, you're not going to be able to do a good job on this. Okay, so remember how we do it. We read the question first, then we read and summarize the documents, and then we organize it in a chart. We do that kind of pre-writing for every essay, but for DBQ it's even more important. Alright, so looking at the question sheet, you're going to see that there's lots of words on that sheet, and it would take you a long time to read it all, and you do not need to. The first sentence is a reminder that you're using CE and BCE instead of BC and AD. You already know that, so skip that part. The rest of the middle of the page is all the rubric, and what they've done is they've rewrote the rubric for you. You should know the rubric, or better, you should know how I want you to set up the DBQ, so skip that. Go to the end of the page and look for the number 1, because this is the first question, it'll have a number 1. And notice that even with the question, you have some information that isn't really that important, and that is the reminder about the additional document. You should already know that you need an additional document, so you don't really need that part either. You really just need to focus on the question that I've underlined here. You also have some historical background information. Every DBQ will have this. That might make you feel better about the topic, but you don't need to use that in your answer, okay? Okay, so we've got our pre-write. Looking at our question, we know that there's some key words there. First of all, our question is looking for causes and consequences. Those are really the most important words here. We know that our topic's the Green Revolution from the question, and our parameters are 1945 to present. We don't have a region mentioned in this essay, so it's more of a global essay, although that can change while you read. But a lot of essays will have the region mentioned, and you need to make sure that you underline that because it needs to go in your thesis. Okay? So causes and consequences. We're looking for why the Green Revolution happened and the results of it. Consequences are not always bad. I know we like to think of them as punishments, but in this case, they're just another way to say results, okay? Alright, so you're reading the documents again. You're looking for the answer to the question. That's all you want to focus on. And the question was causes and consequences. Please make sure that this is incredibly important. You're not looking for anything else, okay? You will see the answer in the documents. They kind of designed it that way when they wrote it. They're not trying to trick you. Alright, I already told you this, that you have this part about the additional document and historical background. Alright, so I want you to take your documents and I want you to go through summarizing them, looking for causes and consequences. I want you to stop the video and take the time to do that. You might want to time yourself and just see how long it takes you while you're doing it, okay? Alright, now you should have come back after doing your own summary, so we're going to go through the way I summarize them. You might have done them even better, okay? But this is what I saw, and in document 1 I didn't see that much, okay? So I see wheat yields going up, I see regions, I see countries, I see India and Mexico here, and I have a date of 1950 to 2005, and I've got the source. Not really, you know, that much POV power here. Alright, document 2, even though it's the same source, I see more in this graph. First of all, I see that from about 1930 to 1960, before the takeoff of the Green Revolution, I've got food supply going under population growth, and so we had less food than we had people, so it is showing that people were actually hungry. And it does also take into account after that the food supply now kind of matches the population growth, that both the food supply and the population will grow at the same rate. We don't know that that will happen. That's just a prediction, and a prediction is somewhat of a POV, okay? Alright, so document 3 is a really good one because it definitely shows a cause, and it's saying that people are starving in the United States. We have all this technology and we should go use our technology to help those starving poor people. What's awesome about this one is because it's great for POV, because 1949 would be right in the hot part of the Cold War, and Harry Truman makes this distinction of free nations. So we want to make friends, we want to look like the good guys, all that stuff because of the Cold War. Because of the Cold War, him wanting us to look like the good guys, that is a POV. It's saying what is happening around the article, or around the speech in this case, okay? Alright, so document 4 is another example of a cause here, because it's showing, it's saying that the land was tired, soil degradation, lack of nutrients, and it's also saying that people were hungry. And then he says that the Green Revolution really worked to give them more food, but the population growth really needs to be slowed also. If you knew anything about the Green Revolution, you would know that he's the one who really started the research. So, you know, that he would, of course, support the Green Revolution. Okay? Alright, so document 5, he gives credit to the Green Revolution. He gives it to the farmers in Punjab. So this is not going to be the first time we see Punjab as a region. Punjab is in India, so we got India again. And he says that with their initiative and their energy, that's what caused this to work, that their competition, they, just one-upped each other, and that really helped. It's the beginning of the success of Green Revolution, so he might have wanted to have the farmers take ownership, or he might have wanted the changes in agriculture to continue in that area, to support the Green Revolution. He's definitely kind of a politician. All right. 6. This is the one where it says that the consequence is wealth. All right. So this is what I meant by consequences are good things too. People are getting wealthy. And this is another one that's awesome for POV, because if you notice, she's the wife of a Mexican agricultural official. She's not your average farmer. So she's probably seeing some wealthy people, landowners and officials, but she probably does not even notice what is happening to the average Mexican farmer. All right. Document 7. It says here that it makes landowners very rich, but that for some groups it actually makes the situation worse, especially for women in rural areas. And what I got out of a POV is that the writer is not taking into account the problems with culture in these regions, and that females have always been pretty much subjugated. They're just blaming it all on the changes in agriculture, the changes in the ways agriculture is done. All right, document 8 is really long, so we've got to shorten it up in our summary, and we can always come back and put details in the essay. So we definitely have negative consequences. Both, again, we're seeing that lower classes are not helped economically, like the last document. We have the Punjab, and we have this competition that was mentioned before, but it's not such a nice competition anymore. It's violent, right? And one of the ecological problems that she's talking about is water resources diminishing, and she's saying that this is also a cause for conflict. So you could do a couple of things with the POV here. You could, state that she was Indian and she's would know the situation. She would have first-hand knowledge. But you also might want to note that her article is for an environmental magazine, and environmentalists are just playing against using chemicals in farming, which is part of the Green Revolution. So they might be really trying to drum up other things that are wrong about the Green Revolution, sensationalizing the issue. Also, with document 8, she sounded pretty angry, so you might want to throw that in. But you don't just want to say she was angry. You want to, give a little more, that maybe she was exaggerating the issue or something like that. All right, so document 9, this one is that it's a successful thing. It's changing the standard of living of the people in the Punjab, but it also notes that the family structure has changed, that it's moving from extended family to nuclear family, and that is kind of subjective, because that's a Western way of thinking, that the nuclear family is the best way to go, and that may not be true, because when you have extended family, you usually have extra people, mothers, aunts and stuff to take care of the kids. The POV I got from this one is that it was probably researched well and can be trusted. However, this is definitely a politician. He could be trying to drum up support from the farming industry. You might have got a better POV than I did. But at least you maybe are getting the way. POVs, we look at POVs, okay? Alright, so document 10, the last document, and this is the most documents that any DBQ will have. It's usually from 8 to 10. Alright, so document 10 is saying that the plant diversity is going down. The seed diversity, we're losing native seeds. This is also a good one for POV, because the writer is Mayan and he's talking about something that is native to him. And usually people that their culture is being marginalized or reduced, they really want to hold on to everything, including something like native corn. So you can bring that up, because some people might not think the loss of native corn is as important as he does. Okay, that's his POV. Alright, so hopefully you're getting the idea with POV that it is the writer, who they are, why they're writing what they're writing, what's going on around them, who they're writing for. All those things are about POV, okay? So what I want you to do is now go ahead and do your chart and come back to the second half.